A powerful storm is dumping rain across Southern California on this Christmas Eve. The first wave already causing dangerous flooding and debris flows from San Fernando Valley all the way to the Inland Empire.
What you are about to see is not a scene from a disaster movie, and it's not exaggerated for dramatic effect. This is Southern California right now, on the brink of one of the most dangerous weather events the region has faced in years. As families across the state wrap gifts, plan holiday meals, and prepare to celebrate Christmas, an enormous and highly dangerous storm system is building strength just offshore in the Pacific. Meteorologists are sounding alarms. Emergency agencies are doubling staffing levels. Evacuation orders are already rolling out across vulnerable communities. This is not a routine winter storm. This is a powerful, fast-moving system capable of transforming calm neighborhoods into raging waterways in a matter of hours. The timing could not be worse. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are about to become a direct confrontation between nature's raw force and human preparedness. But what makes this storm especially frightening isn't just how much rain is expected. It's where that rain will fall. Many of Southern California's most scenic hillside neighborhoods, prized for their views and quiet surroundings, are sitting atop unstable terrain. Recent wildfires stripped these hillsides of vegetation, leaving behind loose soil, ash, and debris. Under normal conditions, these slopes are already fragile. Add intense rainfall, and they become ticking time bombs. Part 1. The science and scale of destruction. Meteorologists are using terms like atmospheric river and bomb cyclone. But for those in the storm's path, the reality is far simpler and far more terrifying. Imagine a massive fire hose in the sky, aimed directly at Southern California, pouring relentless sheets of water over the region. Forecasters warn that some areas could receive the equivalent of an entire year's worth of rainfall in just 3 days. This isn't rain. It's a deluge on a scale rarely seen. In certain locations, rainfall totals could approach 17 inches. To put that into perspective, some desert communities don't see that much precipitation over several years. Now imagine it falling in less than 72 hours. The consequences are already unfolding. At least 17 people have lost their lives across California as heavy rain, destructive winds, and widespread flooding batter the state. Flood watches now cover nearly the entire region. Trees are coming down. Mudslides are cutting off roads. Entire neighborhoods are becoming inaccessible as pavement collapses and hillsides give way. Emergency responders describe scenes of chaos. Residents trapped by sudden road failures, vehicles swallowed by rushing water, and neighborhoods cut off with little warning. In some areas, evacuation orders aren't suggestions. They're urgent commands. Get in your car. Leave immediately. Do not wait. Part 2. Evacuations, mudslides, and emergency response. South-facing mountain slopes are especially vulnerable. Forecasters say rainfall totals there could rival what cities like Seattle receive in an entire season. But the real danger lies in the burn scars left behind by years of devastating wildfires. Without trees and vegetation to anchor the soil, these hillsides are primed for disaster. When heavy rain hits, the ground doesn't absorb it. It collapses. Mudslides are no longer a possibility. They are expected. Emergency management agencies are treating this threat with extreme seriousness. Ventura County alone has deployed dozens of additional personnel, including specialized swiftwater rescue teams trained to pull people from fast-moving floodwaters. These are not routine precautions. The decision to pre-position these teams speaks volumes about how dangerous officials expect conditions to become. Entire communities are being told to evacuate immediately. Silverado Canyon, Modjeska Canyon, Williams Canyon. These are not abstract locations on a weather map. They are real neighborhoods where families have built homes, memories, and lives. Now those families are being forced to leave everything behind with little notice. Part 3. Human stories and escalating danger. What makes this situation especially cruel is the timing. Tourists who fled storms in the Pacific Northwest, hoping to enjoy California's sunshine for the holidays, now find themselves trapped in an even more dangerous environment. Some traveled from Oregon to escape their own atmospheric river, only to drive straight into California's version, stronger, wetter, and far more destructive. From a meteorological standpoint, the storm is remarkable in its complexity. Two separate atmospheric rivers are involved. The first, arriving tonight and lasting through tomorrow, is the most intense. It carries powerful winds capable of uprooting trees and rainfall rates that will overwhelm drainage systems almost instantly. Then, just as conditions begin to stabilize, a second system is expected to arrive later in the week, prolonging the danger. Authorities are pleading with residents to take warnings seriously. One message is being repeated over and over: never drive through moving water. It takes just 6 inches of flowing water to sweep away a vehicle. 6 inches, less than the height of a curb, can turn a multi-ton car into an uncontrollable object. Across the region, residents are racing against time. Sandbags are being filled by the hundreds. Doorways are being reinforced. Gutters are being cleared. Loose objects are being secured before high winds turn them into projectiles. Part 4. Infrastructure failure and widening impact. In some areas, the destruction has already begun. Creeks have collapsed into deep sinkholes. Hillsides have given way without warning. Vehicles have been buried beneath debris flows several feet deep. Survivors describe moments of sheer terror as mud and rock poured downhill like liquid. One resident who recently lost his home to wildfire is now fighting to protect what remains from flooding. He has placed more than 80 sandbags around his property and says he needs even more. For many, this storm feels like a cruel continuation of disasters they thought they had already endured. Emergency officials are using every tool available. Digital evacuation maps update in real time. Emergency alerts are lighting up phones across Southern California. Social media feeds are filled with warnings, road closures, and evacuation notices. But despite all the technology, the fundamental advice is painfully simple: get to higher ground or get out. Infrastructure across the region is under immense strain. Storm drains designed for normal rainfall will be overwhelmed quickly. Roads will become rivers. Power lines will fall. Cell towers may fail. This isn't speculation. It's what happens when extreme rainfall collides with urban development. Adding to the danger is the storm's thunderstorm potential. Embedded within the atmospheric river are unstable pockets capable of producing intense cloudbursts. These bursts can dump inches of rain in minutes, triggering flash floods with little to no warning. A street that seems passable one moment can become a deadly torrent the next. Part 5. Final warning and closing message. This flooding is historic. Some officials say it rivals the worst events on record. And beyond the immediate danger lies another devastating reality: the human toll. Families who already survived wildfires are once again packing emergency bags, deciding what to save and what to leave behind. The emotional strain of repeated evacuations is immense. Mountain communities face additional challenges. Ski resorts that should be celebrating peak holiday season are shutting down entirely. Rain falling on snow-covered slopes creates unstable conditions and raises avalanche risks. The economic impact ripples outward, affecting workers, businesses, and entire towns that rely on tourism. Emergency shelters are opening, but space is limited. Officials urge anyone with alternative accommodations to make arrangements immediately. Hotels are filling rapidly, and roads that remain open today may be impassable tomorrow. The window for safe evacuation is closing fast. The science behind atmospheric rivers is both fascinating and alarming. These systems can transport moisture equivalent to dozens of Mississippi rivers flowing through the sky. When that moisture collides with California's mountains, it is squeezed out with incredible force, reshaping landscapes in the process. Years of drought have hardened the soil, making it incapable of absorbing sudden rainfall. Initial precipitation runs off immediately, overwhelming creeks and channels. Once the ground finally softens, it becomes saturated and unstable, worsening landslide risks. Even wildlife is affected. Animals fleeing rising waters are being pushed into populated areas, increasing the likelihood of dangerous encounters with humans. Mountain lions, bears, and other predators may appear in neighborhoods where they're rarely seen. Transportation networks are preparing for shutdowns. Major highways through mountain passes are expected to close. Urban underpasses and low-lying roads will become deadly traps. As night falls, Southern California holds its breath. Emergency responders are in position. Sandbags are stacked. Evacuation centers stand ready, but survival will ultimately depend on decisions made in the next few hours. Those who leave early may watch the destruction unfold from safety. Those who ignore warnings risk becoming part of the tragedy. This storm is a brutal reminder that nature does not care about holidays, schedules, or traditions. Christmas this year will look very different for many, spent in shelters instead of living rooms, with emergency meals instead of family dinners. The storm of the decade has arrived. The time for action is not tomorrow. It is now. If you found this report helpful, please like the video and subscribe for future updates.